The rumors swirling around the young and the restless have sparked a tidal wave of speculation that fans cannot seem to ignore, especially with whispers of Dylan McAvoy's potential return after nearly a decade away from Genoa City. Dylan's exit in 2017 was as dramatic as any soap opera could deliver. His involvement with dangerous criminal organizations forced him into the witness protection program, and his sudden disappearance left his mother, Nikki Newman, devastated, and his wife at the time, Sharon Newman, heartbroken beyond words. His departure felt final in the moment, but soap operas thrive on unpredictability, and what once seemed like a closed chapter can suddenly become the center of a new storyline years later. The possibility of his return doesn't just excite viewers for nostalgia's sake, it carries with it the weight of old wounds, unresolved relationships, and a host of questions about what Dylan has been doing all this time and what might bring him back into the orbit of the Newman family. Adding even more fuel to the fire is the news that Roger Howarth, an actor beloved in the daytime world for his complex portrayals on One Life to Live and General Hospitales, officially joined the cast of Y and are in a role that is being kept tightly under wraps. Fans immediately began theorizing about the possibilities, and one of the loudest questions has been whether Howarth could be stepping into the shoes of Dylan McAvoy in a surprise recast. The idea is both thrilling and controversial. On one hand, Howarth has a long history of bringing nuance and edge to characters, making him an exciting choice for a man like Dylan, who has always carried an undercurrent of darkness beneath his heroism. On the other hand, some fans struggle with the idea of a recast for such a memorable character originally played by Steve Burton, whose intense, stoic style defined Dylan's persona. Yet soap operas have always found ways to reinvent characters, and a fresh interpretation could signal a bold new direction for Dylan's story. The narrative potential is rich if the show were to pursue Dylan's re-entry into Genoa City. His absence has been marked by the quiet pain of those who loved him most, but time has reshaped those relationships. Nikki has endured countless struggles since losing Dylan, and though she found ways to heal, the reappearance of her son would inevitably dredge up old emotions, joy, and perhaps even guilt that she could not protect him from the path that forced him into hiding. For Sharon, Dylan's return would be even more complicated. Their marriage ended abruptly not because of lack of love, but because of circumstance, and Sharon has gone on to live an entirely different life since then. A reemergence of Dylan, whether as his former self or as a man hardened and transformed by years in witness protection, could challenge Sharon's current relationships and stability in ways she could not anticipate. But what if the story is not as straightforward as Dylan's return? Some fans believe the casting of Roger Howarth may signal an entirely new creation, a mysterious figure who may intersect with Sharon, Nikki, or even the Newman family in unexpected ways. Given Howarth's history of playing morally complex and enigmatic characters, he could be written as a foil, a savior, or even a secret adversary. There's also the possibility of a layered reveal. Perhaps his character initially appears to be someone new, only to later be exposed as Dylan himself, living under a new identity created by the Witness Protection Program. This would be a clever way for Y and R to bridge the gap between Burton's original portrayal and Howarth's reinterpretation, making the shift feel organic while embracing the element of surprise that keeps viewers glued to their screens. The broader implications for Genoa City are tantalizing. The Newman family is always at the center of high-stakes drama, and Dylan's reappearance could spark ripples across every corner of town. Victor Newman, the patriarch, has always kept a careful watch over his family, and the return of a son long thought lost would inevitably test his control and possibly destabilize the delicate balance of power. Dylan could find himself caught between loyalty to his family and the secrets he carries from his time in hiding. Moreover, if the criminals from his past remain a threat, his homecoming might endanger everyone around him, injecting danger and suspense into the heart of the show's canvas. For Sharon, it would pose a direct emotional challenge. How does one reconcile the ghost of a past love with the reality of present commitments? And would Dylan still be the same man she once loved? Or would the years in hiding have transformed him into someone darker, perhaps even unrecognizable? It's worth noting that recasts and reimaginings are nothing new in the soap opera world. Some of the most iconic characters in daytime have been portrayed by multiple actors, each bringing their own flavor and depth to the role. The success of such transitions often hinges on how the show frames the change. If Roger Howarth were to step into Dylan's shoes, it would likely be accompanied by a carefully crafted storyline that acknowledges his transformation, both external and internal. The witness protection angle provides a natural excuse for a new face and even a new demeanor. Years of living under assumed identities, perhaps constantly on the run, could leave Dylan with scars, both literal and emotional. Howarth's talent for portraying tormented, layered individuals would fit seamlessly into this kind of arc, making the audience's adjustment easier while opening new avenues for storytelling. Of course, there remains the chance that Howarth is not connected to Dylan at all, and instead will embody a fresh role designed to shake up existing dynamics. He could arrive as a powerful corporate player, a doctor with secrets, or even a villain connected to one of Genoa City's ongoing mysteries. Such unpredictability is part of the appeal. The ambiguity keeps fans theorizing, dissecting every hint, and eagerly awaiting the reveal. No matter the outcome, the addition of a veteran actor like Howarth guarantees that his presence will not be small or fleeting. His character will matter, and his impact will reverberate across the show. The question then becomes, is why and are daring enough to revisit Dylan McAvoy at this point in its history? Bringing back a character after such a long absence can reinvigorate the canvas, rekindle nostalgia, and create explosive new drama. But it must be done with precision. Fans have long memories, and Dylan's past is intertwined with so many central figures that his reappearance would demand careful attention to continuity and emotional fallout. Yet that is also the greatest opportunity. So operas thrive on weaving the past into the present, and Dylan's return would embody that principle perfectly. Ultimately, whether Roger Howarth steps into Dylan's role or embodies someone new, one truth is clear: The Young and the Restless is signaling that change is on the horizon. With its legacy of surprise twists and bold storytelling, the show has once again placed itself at the center of speculation, proving that even after decades on the air, it still knows how to capture the imagination of its audience. Fans will be watching closely, waiting for that moment when the mystery unravels, whether it is the long-lost Dylan McAvoy walking back into Genoa City or a brand new force ready to leave his mark on the lives of the Newmans, the Abbotts, and everyone else who dares to cross his path. The whispers surrounding The Young and the Restless have reached a fever pitch, and for good reason. Daytime drama has always thrived on mystery, but the arrival of Roger Howarth in a yet-to-be-revealed role has given fans the perfect storm of anticipation, speculation, and the thrill of uncertainty. The secrecy behind his casting suggests that the producers are preparing something monumental, something designed not just to shock, but to reshape Genoa City's landscape in ways that ripple across multiple storylines. Already, the theories range from plausible to wild, but to stand at the forefront, could Howarth be the recast Dylan McAvoy, long presumed gone under the watchful eye of witness protection? Or could he instead slip into the shoes of Tucker McCall, a role with deep ties to both the Abbott and Chancellor families? Either direction carries tremendous weight and would unleash a flood of consequences across the show. The idea of Howarth taking on Tucker McCall is not without merit. Tucker's character, originally introduced as the secret son of Catherine Chancellor, has always been a man torn between ruthless ambition and an often failed attempt at genuine connection. He is the kind of morally gray figure that Howarth excels at portraying: charming yet volatile, vulnerable yet calculating, someone who can deliver a smirk and a dagger in the same breath. Bringing Howarth in as Tucker would breathe fresh life into a legacy character who has often been underutilized, giving him a chance to carve out new rivalries with Jack Abbott, reignite tension with Ashley, and test the boundaries of Genoa City's fragile corporate alliances. Fans familiar with Howarth's past work know that he thrives in roles where unpredictability is key, and Tucker's unpredictable heart and schemes would fit him like a glove. Still, the possibility that Howarth could be stepping into Dylan's role is perhaps the more tantalizing option, precisely because of the emotional upheaval it would unleash. Dylan's exit in 2017 was abrupt and tinged with sorrow. He didn't die or betray anyone, simply disappeared into witness protection, leaving behind a trail of heartbreak for his mother, Nikki, and his wife at the time, Sharon. Both women grieved, both found ways to move forward, but neither ever truly closed the chapter on Dylan. In soap logic, that kind of unresolved ending is never really final. It is a door cracked open, waiting for the right moment to swing wide. And what better moment than now, when Sharon and Nikon's chick, the super couple fans have rooted for since the beginning, are teetering on the edge of a reconciliation. The reintroduction of Dylan would instantly shatter that delicate possibility. Sharon would be pulled into directions, her heart torn between the man who stood by her through so much chaos, Nick, and the man who left her not out of betrayal, but out of sacrifice, Dylan. Nick represents stability, history, and family, but Dylan represents unfinished love and the promise of what could have been if life hadn't intervened. Sharon's loyalties would be tested, her emotions stretched, and in true soap opera fashion, the fallout would be messy, dramatic, and utterly addictive. Meanwhile, Nikki would face her own torment. She has always wanted what's best for her children, but seeing Dylan again would stir guilt, pride, and fear all at once. Could she truly choose between her sons, or would she become trapped between her loyalties to Nick and her desperate desire to protect Dylan after years apart? Michelle Stafford's recent Instagram tease about more surprises coming only poured gasoline on this speculative fire. Stafford, who plays Phyllis, is no stranger to stirring chaos both on-screen and off, and her timing just before the announcement of Howarth's casting and the reveal that Tamara Braun would be joining the show as a new character named Sienna Belsigist's A Storm is brewing behind the scenes. Soap veterans know that casting announcements rarely exist in a vacuum. They are often part of a larger tapestry, hinting at the kind of explosive arcs that daytime thrives on. With two heavy hitters like Howarth and Braun entering the picture simultaneously, the canvas of Genoa City is about to expand, and the ripple effects will undoubtedly touch every family in town. Even if Howarth ultimately ends up portraying Tucker or an entirely new creation, the chance remains that Dylan could return in another form, played by a different actor. The beauty of soaps lies in their elasticity. Actors thought gone forever can resurface, and familiar faces can change while retaining the essence of who they are. If not Howarth, then perhaps another actor will be chosen to step into Dylan's shoes, reigniting the sparks of his connections with Sharon, Nikki, and even Paul Williams, his adoptive father, whose own presence has been missed in recent years. A fresh Dylan could be exactly the shot in the arm the show needs to shake up the romantic and family dynamics in ways that both honor the past and propel the story into the future. And yet, the uncertainty may be the greatest thrill of all. Fans dissect every social media post, every casting leak, every vague interview answer, searching for clues, desperate to know whether their theories are on track. Will Dylan return? And if so, will he look like Roger Howarth or someone new? Will Tucker McCall reappear to shake up the power struggles of Genoa City's elite? Or is something else entirely in store, something even bolder, even riskier, even more unpredictable than anyone expects? That is the brilliance of The Young and the Restless. After more than 50 years on the air, it still knows how to keep its audience guessing, how to hold its secrets tight, and how to unleash the kind of shocks that remind us why we keep tuning in day after day, decade after decade.